Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. The basket is very high, as told to Patricia Karwatowicz. My great-uncle Adam is history in a nutshell. He was born in Poland 85 years ago, and the weird thing is he likes me. It turns out he's dying to come to one of my basketball games, even though he's never seen a live basketball game in his life. He even asked me, how high is the basket for throwing in the ball? What would the other hornets say if my great-uncle came to a game in his goofy fur-flapped hat, long overcoat, and galoshes? The guys would make hay out of that. Oh no, I'm beginning to talk like him. It's doubly weird because my parents named me after him, saying my uncle is a very honorable man. My great-aunt Margaret calls him Big Adam and me Young Adam to tell us apart. I can almost hear someone calling me Young Adam in public. My problem is that I'm required to spend quality time with great-uncle and great-aunt Karwatowicz. Dad says it's so they won't get lonely. Mom says it's a good experience. Mostly, I call my visit a school service project, but I know it's important to make sure they're okay. Uncle is crazy about stamp collecting. For years, he's been buying mint-condition stamps from stamp stores and post offices around the world. He has tons and tons of albums, but he can't see very well and needs my help mounting his latest purchases in the albums. I have to admit we've had some fun conversations, dreaming about how someday he'll sell a really valuable one and imagining what he'll do with the money. He'd like to go back to Poland and see his farm that got confiscated during the war, then slip into his old Krakow church, and after that maybe buy a punchki. Uncle says to pronounce it punchki, a jelly-filled donut. The morning for my next visit comes around and Uncle opens their condo door. "Come in, Adam." "Is that young Adam?" calls Aunt Margaret. "Have a spot of tea, dear." Just so you know, that doesn't mean a drip of tea on your shirt. It's Aunt M's British speak for a cup of tea. 2 lumps of sugar or 3? She spoons spearmint leaves into the floured teapot and pours boiling water into it. Then, get this, she puts a little sweater thing over the pot to keep it hot. Aunt M calls it a cozy. 2 lumps, please, I answer politely. Aunt M is big on politeness. I'm not exactly into tea, but it's a good way to kill time, so I have some. The homemade shortbread isn't a problem. The 3 of us sit at the table with a centerpiece of medicine bottles. A few breakfast crumbs, too. My greats can't see very well. "How are you today, Uncle?" "I'm a little weak." Uncle slurps his tea, then scoots his chair back from the table. "Well, ready for some stamping, Adam?" "Sure." I wipe buttery crumbs from my lips with a cloth napkin. Aunt M isn't into paper napkins. She squints at me. "Perhaps you'd prefer to play a game? My lady friends will be coming down soon. We could use a 4th player." "Thanks for the tea, Aunt Margaret, but Uncle asked first." Phew! Uncle shuffles in his purple bedroom slippers to the dining room. A fat album lies open on the table under a large magnifying glass. He hands me some special stamp tweezers. "Remember, no fingerprints on our stamps. We must keep them impeccable to remain valuable." "Right." I mount his latest art series on the page. Uncle settles back to watch. "Someday we will find a very rare stamp, Adam." "Right. What will our $100,000 stamp buy this time?" "It is not impossible. If a stamp has an error, for example, something is upside down, they stop the printing and it becomes rare." He leans back thoughtfully in his chair. "We would buy the farm I lost in the war." "Tell me more, Uncle." "We had no baskets for the ball there, only baskets for gathering eggs." He chuckles. "We had fields to plow behind the house and a warm fire, and we had time to thank the Lord. Adam, do you have time to thank the Lord?" I haven't been doing much thanking the Lord lately, I realize. Maybe I'd better do something positive, such as a good deed. "Uncle, if you want, you can watch my basketball game tomorrow." "How you say?" "Right." I tell Dad and Mom I finally invited Great-Uncle Adam to a game. They smile, so I know I'm in the right court, so to speak. The next day, during pre-game warm-ups, I hear guffaws and snorts from my teammates. "Who's that old geezer? Totally weird. He's older'n dirt." Great-Uncle Adam shuffles onto the gym floor, tapping his cane, leaning on Dad's arm. Uncle sees me right off and calls, "Hello, hello, young Adam." Eric asks, "He belongs to you?" "No," I answer. "He's just some old guy my parents know." Nice going, Adam, I think. Real honorable. The game is close. In the last seconds, the Hornets are down 2 points. Ball in my hands, I position myself for a three-pointer, the shot I never miss. Dead silence. Then a shout. "Make the ball in the basket, young Adam!" I miss. The winners cheer. The Hornets moan. After high-fiving the victors, I slink off the court, mad and embarrassed, big time. So much for my good deed. Eric taunts, "Young Adam? Who's that old guy who threw you off your shot?" Jim asks, "Yeah, he looked like a major time warp." Noah doesn't say anything. Then I get as mad as a hornet. It's my great-uncle they're talking about. I invited Uncle so he could see me play, not so he could be seen and ridiculed. I have to stand up for him. He's my great-uncle Adam. I'm named after him. Uncle is a decorated Polish war hero who immigrated to this country 50 years ago with nothing but the clothes on his back. He's an expert stamp collector, too. We can't pick our relatives, but if I could, I'd pick him. Eric shrugs. Jim says, "Whatever." And good old Noah says, "That was cool, man." I march off with a bounce in my sneakers and climb into the back seat of the car next to my great-uncle Adam. Dad says, "We can't win 'em all." Mom says, "It's only a game." Uncle Adam says, "But the basket is very high." He touches my hand with his very old hand. "We may have lost the war, Adam, but always there is another field to plow. We thank the Lord for that." I look into his warm blue eyes and thank the Lord for my great-uncle Adam. "What do you say, Uncle? Let's go home and light that warm fire and find that valuable stamp." "Well, I think that is a good idea, Adam."
The story you have heard today is from Guide's Greatest Stories, written by various authors and compiled by Randy Fischel, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.